What's up, everyone? Welcome to the very first episode of the Wayne and Chase Show. I'm sitting here with formerly Chase, but because of the name of the show, we're going by middle names. My middle name is Chase, and Chase's middle name is Wayne.
A little bit ironic there.
How you doing today?
You know, we doing good. The first ever episode, the inaugural, you could, so to speak. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Actually, super excited to be here. Super excited to do this. I wasn't much into politics growing up, but over the last kind of, ever since basically 2012, kind of like Obama's re-election, I've been thinking more and more about it and how I kind of relate to the world, especially as I grow up. I've never really had to think much of it because a lot of the policies that I believe would affect me never affected me before. So,
oh yeah, definitely. I'm kind of quite the opposite. I have always been into politics. I remember, scout camp doing podcasts back when I was like 13, 14, going off about Bill Clinton. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about, but I've always been into politics, and obviously as you get older, it affects you more. Taxes, just different things. Obviously that's just, everyone can relate to that. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from. This is just, obviously I have a love of, just America really more, and the Constitution and federalism and small government. And, I just enjoy podcasts. So, I don't know.
Why not create your own, right?
Exactly. I don't know how long it'll take, or if we ever, take off, but it's just more for fun, and, hopefully we can gain some viewers along the way, and, help people, enlighten minds, I guess, so to speak, and have honest, real discussions, about the issues, from every side, whether it be, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Communist, whatever it may be.
Yeah. To get started, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I'll introduce myself afterwards.
Yeah, so I am a, 27-year-old guy, born and raised in Utah in the Mountain West, so to speak. So obviously, being from Utah, probably skew conservative, just because that's how it is. But I definitely, I've kind of always been that way, just because I feel like that's more in line with the American tradition, our founding fathers, and so on. But I feel like I've definitely, grown over, since I really got into it, probably about 13, 14, when I was just, waving that Republican banner. And now I'm much more, I don't even consider myself a Republican. I consider myself like a conservatarian, a little mix of a conservative and a libertarian kind of mixed. I wouldn't say I'm a full libertarian, because I'm not, fully there. Have a few differences on foreign policy and a couple different things like that. But yeah, I'm very libertarian for the most part. Very into small government, low taxes. Basically, and why I think it matters, and what I'm hoping to accomplish with this is, obviously having honest discussions. But I think the real reason why we have, anything, why George Washington, or, and all the Americans back in the day, revolted from Britain, is because they wanted to have a better life, a fairer life for everyone, not just for, the upper class or the ruling class or whatever. And I feel like in America we've become very much not that way. We very much have a ruling class, or kings or queens. They're just not called that. They're different titles. It's senators, it's House of Representatives, it's president. And I think we need to get away from that. So my thing is to, hopefully what I want to accomplish, and what I've really been focusing on the last 3 or 4 years, is how to help, the average everyday person, whether you be a white guy from Appalachian, West Virginia, an African American born in the inner city of Detroit, or an immigrant, from, South America that's coming here. It's like, how can we help all of these people, or people from every background, have a good life? And I just so happen to think that the best way to accomplish that is getting government out of the way and letting the free market enterprise people kind of take off and have human ingenuity spring forth. So that's kind of just, the background. And then obviously along the way, I hope we'll talk the news, have power rankings of the Democratic, nomination.
Yeah, there's different tidbits that we want to do, because we kind of, there's 19 people who have put their names in for
And I think even more
the nomination.
And so
at least like mainstream Democrats.
Yeah.
There's been that many, and we already know that there's probably. I mean, Donald Trump's probably already got the nomination for the Republican Party. I don't really see someone trying to sway that at all. I don't think there's the thing that happened in 1992 with George H.W. Bush and
Ross Perot
and I don't see that happening.
Oh no, and so we will talk, news cycle, things like that, but then also, we hope to get, some different guests on and different things like that and have some honest discussions, but also, news of the day, things like that. News of the week, I should say, is it probably be about a weekly show. But yeah, that's kind of me, and I'll let Ian, or as we're going by Chase, kind of give what he's, looking to do with this, and we'll go from there.
So, I've kind of lived in a bubble, I could say. I think a lot of us, especially in my home state of Utah, we kind of fall into that bubble. I think it might not happen outside of it as much. I tend to not see, especially growing up in a wealthier part of town, I tend to not see the struggles of those who are less fortunate than I. And so I kind of get this way of thinking that's maybe not perfect, but I think what I want to accomplish out of this, and as someone who's new to the whole idea of spreading his ideas around and his policies around and what I feel like works and might work and hopefully would work, I would want to just open my mind to different viewpoints that might not be my own, or like basically maybe altering my viewpoints so that I can understand why I believe the things I think. Like, I believe in limited government, but why do I believe those things? And then how can I portray that in a manner that accomplishes my goals of getting a limited government? I believe that taxes are theft. Like, why do I believe that, and how can I portray that? And so this is just an opportunity for me to get my viewpoints across. And I consider myself libertarian, pretty small government, almost anarcho-capitalist, kind of do whatever you want as long as it doesn't affect anybody else.
A little more hardcore than me.
Yeah, and these are kind of new beliefs that I've found, and I think that as individuals we can do more good for the people than any government could ever do, and hopefully I can enlighten people to my way of thinking, that maybe if they have a confirmation bias to a different viewpoint, maybe it'll open their eyes to the things that I believe too as well.
Definitely, and hopefully we can entertain you along the way so you listen. So
yeah,
that's
I mean, I've spent a total of the last 3 months studying political science on a basic level. I have on the desk here, I have my textbook for the class, and it's just the American government book, and it's an entry-level class, and I never really understood politics before, but now I feel like I do. And I don't know where I'm going with this, but hopefully we can just entertain and be something different and not just be, the nightly news. We can actually give what the people want. But I don't know what the people want, but hopefully we can be entertaining.
Yeah, I'll try to be as, honest as I can be, but I won't deny that I definitely am coming at it. I'm biased.
Oh, there's definitely, I think between us two, there's definitely a level of, I wouldn't say hate, but a strong dislike of those who are on the left.
And actually I don't dislike anyone. I just hate the ideas of what a lot of those people are trying to. The ideas I hate. The people, I think that's one of the biggest issues we have is you just get into mudslinging, and
I fall into that trap. That's for sure.
Obviously, our president is probably the commander in control of that, but I don't think it started with him. I think you can go back to, Obama. He did his thing, and and I'm not just going to blame it all on Obama. I mean, you look back into the 90s, you had Newt Gingrich on the right. You had you had Pat Buchanan, who was very much a nationalist and kind of a flamethrower. So it's been trending this way. And then Donald Trump just kind of took it to the next level. And so, I'm not, and some of it, I'm not going to lie. I think some of it's funny.
Imagine if Hamilton had Twitter, or imagine if
it'd be wild. It'd be wild.
Like any of the founding fathers.
And
imagine if they had Twitter.
So I definitely am going to have fun, and I will try to come at it, and tell you what I think, but I do want to be upfront and honest. Like I am very on the right. I am very right wing. I am.
Oh yeah, my conservative bias will definitely come out.
But I will say this. I feel like I'm more honest than anyone on mainstream media, and I'll even include Fox News in that because they're basically Trump media, and then obviously the other two are anything against the Republican media, in my opinion, and obviously we might disagree on that, host to host, but that's fine. So that's just coming where I'm from. Obviously, this is our first episode, so we're more just trying to introduce, kind of feel out, and then as we go, we'll probably have some topics for each different show and things like that.
Yeah, overall, I'm kind of open to more ideas. Recently, I did a thing on Instagram where I just kind of asked every one of my followers their basic or what they kind of believed in certain issues. I had abortion there, and I had a lot of people message me that I didn't really. I knew the side they were coming from, but I didn't know I had people or friends that believed what they did. And hopefully, I can be open minded because this is what this is about. I've definitely lived in a conservative bubble my whole life, and I really, all I can really think about is from the left is they're a bunch of cucks who. Flaming soy boys who just want everything free and never are lazy and never want to do anything for themselves and just love free stuff and don't want to work hard. But I know that's not true. I know there's a lot of good people who just struggle with life, and hopefully I can be open about ideas, and hopefully those listening can be open about the ideas that we have, because I'm pretty extreme with my viewpoints when it comes to what I believe would work, and hopefully I don't come across as an evil person to some. So
definitely. And so obviously as we go, it'll be different topics and different things. I think next week we're going to really try to give our power rankings for the Democratic nomination, and it's tough because there's everyone in there. If you're an American citizen, you're probably running for president for the Democrats at this point. There's so many of them. So we'll kind of do that. That'll be our power rankings for that. That's something I look forward to. And I'll try to make it humorous because, the left's kind of gone bat. They've just gone crazy. And so it'll be interesting.
I think it's going to be an interesting kind of next 2 years. When do you know when the debates start?
I think the debates start here in a couple months. I want to say I think June. I could be wrong, but I know they're ramping. They're getting scheduled.
I know the first caucus is in Iowa, and that's in February. So yeah, we're within a year.
So the debates, I think they'll start going, and it might be later than that. But the 2020 race is already. The people are. Candidates are raising money. Beto's raising money, hand over fist. Bernie is.
Well, Bernie raised $18 million in the first week. A crazy amount of money.
Yeah, people, all the communists are coming out for old communist Bernie. So, it's going to be wild. So the 2020 race is very much up and running. And I will include Joe Biden in that power ranking as well, even though he hasn't come out and and he's got a whole bunch of other things going on right now. And honestly, I don't think Joe Biden did anything wrong, but this is what happens when you throw logic to the wind and you say you just believe anybody. And Joe Biden has done that, and now his past words are coming back to haunt him, and that's, unfortunate to watch. A lot of the leftists and mainstream media now doing the mental gymnastics saying, whoa, 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 we need to hear everyone, but you don't listen to everyone per se. With Brett Kavanaugh, we all know that. So, and me personally, I don't think Biden should be disqualified. He's just kind of a creepy old dude. Like, he didn't harass anybody. He's a creepy old guy from what we know right now.
Yeah.
I won't go too much into that, like I said, because that's going to be our next week's show. We'll go through all that, and who knows, like, we'll probably have differing takes on who we think is going to be the, our power rankings. I think we both have the same guy at 1. Will be interesting to see. But yeah, 2020 is heating up, and just every different thing. There's so much the news cycle these days, whether it be gun control, abortion, spending, transgender issues, gender issues. Just there's so many different things, and hopefully we can, tackle them. And from a, at least in my case, that's going to be from a very, what I want to call classical liberal libertarian view, but it's definitely, that's how it's coming from, and I am, conservative, so I'm not going to hide that, and I'll, portray it from that point of view. But I will say this, that I think, we'll still be more honest than, most of the mainstream media.
Yeah, I'm not going to say we're better than mainstream media, because
we're doing a podcast in a basement.
We're humans, and we're two dudes just, sitting in my parents' basement doing a podcast, but I think this is hopefully a beginning of something that hopefully sparks conversation. And I think a big problem we have in this country is it's either my way or the highway, and if you're not on my way, you're the devil.
Oh yeah, we're very polarized. It's very much two Americas right now, and that's what's going to be interesting with this election. We can talk about that more in depth on different episodes, but it's very much, riling up your base and hoping your base can outvote the other base.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be, especially I think this election. And you know what? Like, honestly, it's going to be entertaining as hell, because whoever wins, first of all, the Democrats going at each other, it's music to my ears, because it's
basically who can be the best meme,
or who can out communist the other one.
Well, yeah,
and so they're going at each other like that, and then when it's the general Trump versus the Twitter is just gonna be
if you're not on Twitter, I think
get it for the 2020 election, because Trump is going to be, every day. If it's Elizabeth Warren, oh my goodness, which I quite honestly think she has zero shot at winning the nomination.
I think she's got less than 2%.
But in polls,
polls right now.
But if it's her, the Pocahontas jokes will be flying. If it's Beto, I can only imagine what Trump's gonna call Robert Francis O'Rourke, and that's how I'm gonna refer to Beto as Robert Francis O'Rourke, because he is an Irishman, and I don't know why he's culturally appropriating the name Beto. He can come up with any story he wants. My bullshit meter is up on that 100%. So Robert Francis O'Rourke versus Trump, that'll be hilarious. Bernie versus Trump. Too old guy.
We can definitely go in. We're definitely going to go into this deep.
Low key, if Bernie wins or Biden wins, the dude might they'll be 80 when they're in
old.
office.
They're old.
So the VP candidate is going to be important. It's going to be entertaining, and that's for me. I'm a political junkie, so for me this is fun to talk about. I can't wait. So next week I'll have my list of candidates and power rankings, and it's going to be wild. I do, like I said, I have a guy that I think is going to win, but I also think a lot can happen, because the Democrats are who can be
the most left,
who can be Joseph Stalin the most.
there's no moderate
the moderate Democrat in Washington, not in America, not your neighbors, but the moderate blue dog Democrat in Washington, D.C., in the Democratic power structure is dead.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
I'm not talking about your neighbors or people you know.
The most moderate, and then I know a lot of people probably listening to this are going to hate it. The most moderate Democrat we probably have right now is Mitt Romney.
Oh, yeah, and he's a Republican. Who's that guy that beat Mia Love in Utah?
Oh, yeah.
He's... And that's just because
he's in Utah. And he probably wouldn't have won anywhere else.
And quite honestly, he's probably not. He probably is just saying he's a moderate because he's in Utah. So, So in the Democratic power structure, in the party, the blue dog Democrat is dead. Now, obviously, your next door neighbors, your friends in the community, I still think the blue dog Democrat is a thing. And that's the thing that's going to be interesting, because even me, I'll be honest, I didn't vote for Trump in the last election, and I still don't know if I'm going to vote for him in this election. There's a lot of things that I don't like. And so I think there's a large swath of the electorate, so to speak, that doesn't necessarily have a home. And that's something that we hopefully will tackle as well.
So it's definitely going to be an interesting race in 2020. We've got a ton of Democrats who are running. We're going to have a power ranking next week, so tune into that. We're definitely going to have like difference of opinions. Obviously, we've said that we have like the top guy.
That might be the same. Yeah, it might very well.
Girl, not to give anything away.
There's a lot of people. It'll be. We aren't comparing notes. We're each doing our own individual notes, and that'll be a fun episode. And right now, like this first episode's kind of more an introduction. It's not necessarily a true podcast form.
Yeah, it's kind of rough around the edges. It's not smoothed out.
And we'll hopefully, a month in, we'll have that, smoothed out. We'll get our, hopefully we get a logo and all that jazz going, and we'll get there. But this is just the beginning, and that's kind of what we're looking to do. And it'll be fun, and it'll be two, next week will be two conservatives talking about, the Democrat race. But also, don't get me wrong. This is also going to be a news topic show as well, and I will go at the Republicans for the things that they do that piss me off, and there is a long laundry list of those things.
Yeah, just like how he said, the mainstream Democrat base or I guess the Democrats at the top aren't the same as they were a couple years ago. The Republicans definitely aren't the same, and we've kind of moved. Everyone's kind of shifted one spot over left, but we can go into this next week. It's going to be an exciting show. Hopefully, we get things, the kinks worked out. We get the videos worked out. We're eventually going to go live.
Yeah, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, all that.
And so it's going to be an exciting show. We just want to bring conversation back to the table and hopefully have open dialogue with everybody, and even have people who disagree with us on the show and have conversations. So super excited.
Definitely. We'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.